Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. We're here this morning for our Administrative Matters meeting, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Kristen Stevens, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. With me is my fellow Commissioner, Commissioner John Kafalis, and we expect Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally soon. To my right, we have from the Clerk's Office, Deirdre O'Neill, helping us with note-taking and record-keeping. We have our County Manager, Lorinda Volker, Tom Clayton from Public Affairs, and Sarah Martin from the Commissioner's Office. So welcome, everyone. And we will start with public comment. It looks like a couple of people signed up for public comment, but I believe there are actually people that are going to be speaking on our first discussion item, which is the National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So we'll probably save those comments for then, just so folks understand how that goes. But is there anyone else in the audience who wanted to give public comment? All right. I don't see any hands raised. Sarah, was there anyone who wanted to call in with public comment?
No, Commissioner.
Okay, then we'll close public comment for the morning. Just remind folks that you can come back and visit us next week. We also are happy to receive your emails or phone calls with any public comment that you have. With that, we will move to approval of the minutes, and Commissioner Kafalis, I'll ask you to make that motion.
Yes, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I move to approve the minutes for the week of September 29th, 2025.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. So we'll move on to the upcoming schedule review. And Sarah, can you help us out with that?
This is the Commissioner's schedule for October 13th through the 18th, 2025. On Monday, October 13th, from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure and Resources, in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., Commissioners may attend the Future of Water and Agriculture in Northern Colorado film screening at the Lincoln Center at 417 West Magnolia Street in Fort Collins. On Tuesday, October 14th, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual statewide Transportation Advisory Committee and Transportation Commissioner Coordination meeting. From 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be an executive session pursuant to the Colorado Revised Statute 246402-4F, Personnel Matters regarding annual evaluation for County Manager, in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Environmental and Science Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the Lake Estes Conference Room on the third floor or virtually via Zoom. From 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will attend the Loveland Urban Renewal Authority Board meeting at the Loveland City Council Chambers at 500 East 3rd Street in Loveland. On Wednesday, October 15th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Big Thompson Watershed Health Partnership meeting. From 12:15 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Colorado Communities for Climate Action Legislative Committee meeting. From 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., Commissioners will participate in the virtual Town of Estes Park Board of Trustees joint work session regarding Visit Estes Park. On Thursday, October 16th, from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will attend the Larimer County / Thompson School District / Loveland / Berthoud Liaisons meeting at the wastewater treatment plant at 920 South Boys Avenue in Loveland. From 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Kafalis may attend the Housing Catalyst Board of Commissioners meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1715 West Mountain Avenue in Fort Collins or virtually via Boardable. From 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization Finance Committee meeting. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioners may attend the Board of Health meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 1525 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. On Friday, October 17th, From 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual State Forest Health Council Legislative Committee meeting. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together member check-in meeting. From 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., Commissioner Cavalas will attend the Wellington Eagles varsity football game at Wellington Middle High School at 2856 Cleveland Avenue in Wellington. On Saturday, October 18th, from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioners may attend the 2025 Veterans Summit Mission Reconnect at Front Range Community College at 4616 South Shield Street in Fort Collins. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will host story time at the Larimer County Farmers Market at 200 West Oak Street in Fort Collins.
Thank you, Sarah. Any additions or corrections to the calendar? Commissioner Cavalas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just regarding the Wellington Eagles football game on October 17th, I would change will to may, since I attended the October 3rd game and it was a bit of a blowout where the Eagles prevailed. And also, I wish to add, I think it's on, give me a moment, please. On Wednesday, October 15th, I'm intending to be at there's a CSU ballot issues forum from 4 to 6 at Avogadro's number. I plan to attend, possibly participate.
Is that everything, Commissioner?
Is that all you asked?
Yes, is that all?
Near as I can tell, yes.
Okay, perfect. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I double-checked on the 15th as well. Sarah, I need to add that I'll be going to the Community Kitchen Loveland fundraiser on the 15th at 7 a.m. That's at Grimm Brothers Brew House at 815 14th Southwest 14th Street. So I needed to add that. And then also, I don't know if you had the Colorado Forest Health Council, the 30-year vision focus meeting from noon to 1. That's as a Forest Health Council, we're trying to refine our 30-year vision for the state of Colorado, 30-year forest vision. So I'll be on that. That's a public meeting. I'm going to be going to the Lunch and Learn at 12:15 to 1 for with Heidi Pruis's climate series, and that's on disaster and OEM. And I think that is it for that day. So I just wanted to make sure I added that on the 15th. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Sarah. I don't have any changes. All right, we will move on to the consent agenda. I'll read through those items. So the first items on the consent agenda are agreements. There are 4 agreements. The first is a professional services agreement, non-project specific engineering and construction management services at the ranch. This is for Phase 2 at the ranch, and the term of this will run through the end of the year, plus renewal options. This is an on-call contract, so the total dollar amount is unknown. Next agreement is a drainage agreement between Larimer County and MHR Properties LLC. This is an agreement that runs in perpetuity, and there is no dollar amount. Next is a professional services agreement, P2509, architecture and engineering firm at the ranch. This contract replaces a contract for the same services and with the same vendor, which was signed by the board in September. This new contract incorporates a work order process for comprehensive design services for the ranch complex in Loveland. The term runs through project completion and is approximately $7.9 million. And the final agreement is Amendment 1 to the contract between Larimer County Department of Human Services and Volunteers of America Colorado Branch, amending that contract. This is for assistance to persons who meet the eligibility requirements for in-home services and are unable to perform daily living tasks, including preparing meals, laundry, shopping, etc. And that term will run through June 30th of 2026. and the total dollar amount shall not exceed $352,182. We have two appointments. The first is a recommended appointment to the Estes Valley Public Library District Board of Trustees for Julie Abel and Kay Boyle. They will be serving full terms on this board beginning January 1st and ending December 31st of 2029. And then a rescinded appointment from the Community Advisory Board, which will be effective immediately. We have one letter of support. This is a letter of support to the Larimer County Sheriff's Office for expansion of wildfire partner program. We'll be providing a letter to the Sheriff's Office for inclusion in its forest restoration and wildfire risk mitigation grant application. The proposed project supports the expansion of the Wildfire Partner Program through increased staffing, volunteer coordination, and enhanced community outreach. These are activities that align with Larimer County's wildfire risk priorities. The required one-to-one match will be fully met through cash and in-kind contributions from the Larimer County Sheriff's Office. And we have two miscellaneous items. One is a delegation of signature authority to the rodeo board chair. This document delegates signature authority to Rick Harris, who's the rodeo board chair, for the limited purpose of signing letters of intent to secure services, events, and entertainment for the 2026 through 2030 Larimer County Fair and PRCA rodeos. We have one Board of Adjustment bylaws to consider. This is requesting approval of Larimer County Board of Adjustment bylaws effective May 27th, 2005. And finally, two resolutions. One is a findings and resolutions denying the Moore appeal. So this was a request for a short-term rental in the Estes Valley, which was denied at a public hearing on September 8th, 2025. And then a resolution establishing holiday hours observed for 2026. The Board of County Commissioners wishes to show appreciation for Larimer County employees and as a demonstration of gratitude for the commitment that county employees have shown to the community. We will be adopting the 2026 holiday schedule to include additional holiday hours in 2026 for the day after New Year's Day, January 2nd, 2026. So, yeah, there's already thumbs up in the audience about this one. So it was a popular. And then 4 hours of holiday leave for an early closure at noon on Christmas Eve of 2026. So that is, I think, some good news, and we're happy to do that. So with that, that is our consent agenda. Would either commissioner want to remove anything from the consent agenda? Nope. All right. Then I'll ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally to make the motion on this.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda for October 7th, 2025.
Thank you. Motion on the table. Any further discussion on any of these items? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. And, yep, great. So we will move on to, I don't believe we have any specific guests this morning, although you're all our guests and we welcome you all. So we'll move on to our discussion items. We have a lot of proclamations today, so we're going to pause and take a lot of photos after these proclamations, but we are happy because these are always good news events. So our first proclamation is to recognize October 2025 as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And we have, I believe, we have Joe Buckley listed, Ricardo Perez, I don't see him, Devontae Tobe, and it looked like there was maybe Anais Campbell here. So come on up. We're happy to see you and talk to us a little bit about this.
Okay. Good morning, board. My name is Devontae. I work at the Public Health Department, and currently I'm just going to read our proclamation for National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So whereas Larimer County is committed to building an inclusive community and workplace that welcomes the talent of all people, including people with disabilities, whereas being employed is a critical piece of being a full participant in the community, and whereas individuals with disabilities add value, skills, and talent to our workplaces and community, whereas employing individuals with disabilities has numerous benefits to employers, individuals, and our community as a whole. Whereas Larimer County will be hosting multiple disability awareness trainings for employees throughout October, including a disability etiquette online training and a disability acceptance training with the ARC of Larimer County on October 14th. And whereas Larimer County is committed to hiring a workforce that includes people with disabilities. Now, therefore, we have the Larimer County Board of Commissioners do hereby recognize October 25th as National Disability Employment Awareness Month in Larimer County.
Thank you, Devontae.
Yeah, thanks so much. Just to add a few more words to that, and my name is Jo Buckley. I'm with Devontae at the Department of Health and Environment, but today we're here on behalf of the Employee Advisory Council. So just doing what we can to make our county as good as it can be, especially as it concerns all of those who get to work for the county. Folks with disabilities may face less job opportunities. However, just like everyone here in our county, they're crucial to making our county the best it can be. So it's our honor to work alongside people with varied perspectives and their varied lived experience. In our hope to increase this and further the identification of opportunities, support for and hiring individuals with disabilities, we've partnered with the ARC of Larimer County. So I'll pass it to Anais to explain a little bit more about our partnership and upcoming training.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning. As Joe mentioned, my name is Anais, and I am with the ARC of Larimer County. I'm honored to be their advocacy manager. I have our communications manager here. There she is. She moved. And, you know, National Disability Employment Awareness Month is near and dear to our hearts at the ARC. Not only because ARC Thrift is the largest employer of individuals with IDD in the state of Colorado, but our mission and vision is that individuals with disabilities are integrated in all aspects of community life. And in the spirit of that, we are supporting agencies such as the county in those welcoming practices. How do you support an employee with disability? How do you support a community member with disability, especially when there are some more hidden aspects to that? And so I hope you all will join us if you can. If the spirit of the month doesn't move you, there will be food and there will be jelly beans as well. So thank you guys so much for honoring this month and for collaborating with us on this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Anais. Any questions for any of these wonderful people? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for being here. I may have missed it, but regarding the October 14th training, did you say what time it is and where? Is it
I
at the ARC?
can, yeah. It's from 12 to 1:30,
At the
and
ARC.
it is at the 200 Peridot Avenue building in Loveland.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And it
That's
sounds
all I
like
have
there'll
by
be
way of
food.
questions.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for reading the proclamation. We often read that ourselves, but we have so many today. I'm sure the commissioners will save their voice for the other ones. Any comments before we make the motion, Commissioner Shattuck McNally?
Yeah, thanks for saving our voices a little bit, reading that for us. You did a really great job. I want to just thank you all for coming today, and thank you to ARC Larimer County, such an important organization to partner with. I used to know some folks who worked for you and were on the board, so very much a place in my heart. And I have nieces and nephews out of the 40 ones that I have a lot of nieces and nephews that have IDD, and so it's just really great to see just a wonderful community supporting folks, and I'm grateful for their communities and how they have them engaged in the community. So something near and dear to my heart. I really love this year's theme called about celebrating value and talent, because I think everyone has value. And I think that's a really great theme and idea to keep in mind. And I do think I'm so grateful for our internal committee that does this work. And Nicole, the great work that you do, outstanding. We're so grateful that you work for Larimer County. Just amazing work. And I do think that it is really important that we do this every month or every week, but I'm really glad in October that we really promote this inclusive workforce environments and celebrate kind of really the varied and valued contributions of people with disabilities in our workplace. And also I think in our volunteer community, because I know my niece and nephews volunteer at food banks and at some farms gathering eggs and things. So I think it's really important to raise this awareness and inspire actionable changes in our workplaces and make sure everyone knows that their work matters. And I hope they have meaningful work as well that they take joy in, because everyone deserves to have joyful work and work that they feel they're contributing. So thank you for being here today. Appreciate all of you, and I'm thankful we take this moment.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kafalis.
Yeah, I'll just add gratitude for the work and groups like the ARC of Larimer County and the ARC Thrift Store. Really important pieces of the fabric of this community. A lot of good deals one can get at the ARC Thrift Store. So that's when I encourage people to go there. I certainly appreciate the I think fairly significant progress that we've had over the years internally with the help of the Employment Advisory Council and certainly champions like Nick Holberg, to really emphasize the importance of looking at the whole continuum of folks, in terms of skills and abilities and challenges, perhaps in terms of employment at the county and internship opportunities, volunteer opportunities. So I think we've made some progress there, and Nicole and her team deserves an awful lot of credit. I appreciate the public health folks and Joe and Devante. You're all part of this work that we do together. And I wanted to just mention quickly, final comment, and that is I was at the farmers market last Saturday, and I did one of my favorite activities, which is story time. And prior to gathering up the children and the youth, there were a group of folks there that must have been visiting the farmers market, and they were accompanied by other people. But at least one of those folks came over and helped us set up the place to read story time, and then it was actually neat when we did story time. It was children and younger people, and then young adults who were there, and we were all enjoying. I think we were all enjoying the story time, and actually, the book that the folks chose was the Book of Kindness, and so we went through a whole series of things to remind us of kindness and why that's important. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, thank you all for being here. Appreciate Anais, talking about the work with the ARC, and happy to, partner with the ARC, and grateful for your leadership in this space. Certainly the ARC Thrift Store, I think, is worth pointing out. Not only are they one of the biggest employers of people with developmental and IDD disabilities, but they also are saving a lot of things from our landfill, right? And so providing that great service for people who want to do better by the environment. And so I think that there's multiple reasons to shop at the ARC Thrift Store. And come on, people, everybody needs a Halloween costume. So come on over. They have a lot of cool stuff, right? If you are looking for your cool Halloween costume, you need to go there. And I just want to thank Devante and Joe for being here too, and serving on the Employee Advisory Council. That's above and beyond the job that you already do, and so we're grateful that you're willing to serve in that way. And it's great to have young leaders in our community here today. That we're really happy for a really great cause, right? I mean, we want everybody to be employed, everybody to have that. That pride that you have when you have a job that means a lot to you and where you feel like you're doing good work. And certainly folks at the ARC Thrift Store are doing amazing work. So really happy that you're here and helping us proclaim the day, the month, I guess, the whole month is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And know that we also have services in our workforce development area for people, for other employees or employers who want to make sure that they're employing all kinds of folks in their businesses. It's just a good thing to do for us, for us all to work together towards that. So thank you for being here. And with that, I will ask Commissioner Kafalis to make the motion on this, and then we'll stop and take a photo.
I thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, colleagues. I move to approve the proclamation declaring October 2025 as National Disability Employment Awareness Month.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. So we'll stop and take a photo. All right, we are back, and our second proclamation this morning is a proclamation declaring 2025 as the year of philanthropy. This was submitted by our Assistant County Manager, Lori Cadridge, and Claire Bouchard from the NOCO Foundation. The Northern Colorado Foundation is celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2025 and is recognizing the thoughtful generosity and long-term investments from individual donors in the communities where we live, and the strong partnership between NOCO Foundation and Larimer County government. So welcome, and I don't know if Claire and Kristen, you wanted to come up and say a few words?
Thank you so much, Commissioners, for this opportunity. We're just so proud of our partnership with Larimer County and 50 years of impact in this community. And so we have been celebrating all year long, and it's just an honor to be here and to receive this proclamation on behalf of the philanthropic work in the community.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for our guests today? Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Just grateful for you taking this opportunity to celebrate the 50 years and the activities that you have going on. And I'm just curious, I've seen a lot of social media and storytelling. Is there any other activities planned for the rest of this 50th year to continue kind of celebrating, but also bringing in others to celebrate community? I've really enjoyed the social media and the campaigns and the storytelling that you have had out there.
Sure. Thank you so much. Our big event, as you are probably aware, was at the Lincoln Center, which is where we got our start. The Lincoln Center was the very first project of the Community Foundation and the reason the Community Foundation was formed. So we had a big celebration for the community in May, which kicked off our several months long celebration. We brought all of you a copy of our 50th anniversary publication that just was published really maybe about a month ago or over the summer. And we've had activities throughout, and we will close out our celebration with something called the Gathering of Gratitude next month.
Wonderful. Commissioner Cavallis, any comments or questions?
Yeah, gratitude is a good thing. So I think the more we can be mindful of the importance of being grateful for all the good work that's done in the community. A lot of history for the Northern Colorado Foundation, its various iterations going back to, I think, to 1975 or so, 50th anniversary. I guess another a point I would also make is I appreciate very much the understanding and the deeper dive into all the issues. I mean, there's a variety of things. Certainly, trying to encourage individuals and organizations to uh, their better self in terms of altruism and philanthropy, but also the work that you've done in the water space, and just trying to connect it. I think that report, maybe you could speak to that about the intersections. Or I think that's really important work. So I greatly appreciate the collaboration, the partnership that the county has with groups like yours, and again helping to encourage folks to give. Uh, I think these days, especially, perhaps uh, giving from the private sector is filling a number of gaps, perhaps in the community. So all the more important these days.
We certainly recognize that philanthropy is bigger than just the monetary investment. And so we encourage the time, talent, and treasure component of philanthropy. And you're right, the Intersections report, which we published about a year and a half ago, looks at, we believe, the first time a regional community indicators report has been done for Larimer and Weld counties. And the report, it's just a starting point, but provides a base level of understanding of how we're doing and where we're starting to see some pressures. And it's written as an invitation to the community to join us in the conversation so that we believe we're better together and we can solve some of these issues: water sustainability, affordable housing, transportation, childcare. We're better off approaching those issues together and regionally, and so we promote that activity.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we're very appreciative of the work that you do in the community. I think, have all of us been in the Water Literate Leaders, or at least a couple of us? Have you?
I'm sorry.
The Water Literate Leaders program? Okay, yep. Commissioner Shattuck McNally has, and I have. And so, programs like that educate, leaders across the counties, it was just really great to be a part of that. And then the event that you had in May was just such a delight. I was not prepared for how entertaining and lovely it was going to be. We're at a lot of events where there's a lot of talking, and that's fine. But it was really wonderful to have, opera music and jazz and, right? I mean, it was a real celebration. So it was a real honor to be there. And then really having people pledge that commitment to being philanthropy and how you're going to give back. I think that piece was really, really special, is like, let's remind people how important this is and how important it is to take care of our community. And so I think that, taking that pledge, and I took the pledge, and I think I got a sticker, and that felt really cool.
We have buttons with us today if anybody
wonderful.
would like
So
one. But
I just, the work that you do, I think is, I didn't know as much about all the work that you do and how many portfolios you manage and what that. And then I went to the Lunch and Learn, and that was remarkable to learn, how you do and how you help people in that journey. Right? People want to give back, but they don't always know how to do that. And so for those of you in the audience or watching on TV, this NOCO Foundation will help you figure out how to do that and how to do that well and put your money where it matters in our community, where there's great need. And the fact that you're going to embark on the housing sector, I think that I was really thrilled to hear that, because we hear that a lot. And I don't think this is something we as government can do alone. And so having the commitment of NOCO Foundation and some of your donors in that space is just, it feels like, okay, maybe we can handle this. Maybe we can tackle this big problem that we have in our community. So kudos to, 50 years and so much great work. We really appreciate what you've done, and we're really happy to do the proclamation. So thanks for bringing this forward to us.
So may I make some comments to you?
Yeah, I had asked in the beginning if people wanted to
I
make
just thought it
comments
was
or questions. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just thought it was questions, so I apologize. I should have taken that opportunity. I didn't have any questions.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say, I've been involved in partnering with NOCO Foundation, trying to still get used to the new name, but way back in 2018, 2017, when I came and asked and humbly asked for them to partner with the Behavioral Health Matters, Mental Health Matters campaign, and you all signaled your support of that, and it was just really important to have community partners understanding the important impact, and I just different folks then, but still the same commitment, same great organization. And I just remember coming into the same offices and sitting down in that conversation. And as you know, now we've passed that, and the great work that continues to happen because of partnerships and collaborations. I think I call it the Larimer way. It's also, I think United says the way, and it's NOCO. It's all of our ways to collaborate and partner. And I think the long history of that, the partnerships with school districts supporting efforts all across the sectors. And I think what's really special, I also turned the Lunch and Learn, I think the first one, and then Water Leaders class. Of course, the last class was virtual because of COVID, so we didn't get to do the last celebration, but I have tried to go to the graduations because I think that's important to connect with other leaders in the water space and celebrate their graduation and connect with them, because I think now that they have that same base of knowledge, it's really important to network and connect with those folks. So really a lot of those things I wanted to just share, kind of that broad experience and how this has rippled out through the community, and people like Claire, everywhere I go, whether it's watershed or fire or and I see you all the time, that it's just really important that we have those connections and how we talk about our community as a group. And I just really am thankful for all of that, and both of you, the work that you do, because you're visible. You're not just in the office, you're out talking with folks and visible. And I think besides the philanthropic services, the nonprofit support that you give is so critical, especially now as resources are really starting to shrink, and folks are feeling that stress of what do we do if we don't have the same avenues. And I think that you're also making sure the nonprofits have the tools they need to navigate these uncertain times. And I really appreciate that as well as the community engagement, because that's that all three of those buckets that you have really interweave to making a really wonderful approach to the community. And I think I'll go back to that word community. I had a couple of times to work with looking at helping select a new leader for parts of our county, and the word community was said over and over again with someone that I resonate with, and then hospitality. And we talked about hospitality and a connection to community, and how it's that sense of you don't just talk about the words, you feel it. And I think that's part of what you all do. We want people to feel that they're in a community that cares, and that deep sense of kind of belonging and fellowship in areas with others, whether it's philanthropic folks who want to donate and work together, or nonprofits supporting each other. And it's characterized by these shared interests that we all share, and goals and vision, and leading with feelings that everyone matters in the group, and everyone has a value, and that we can't, as Commissioner Stevens had said, and I also believe, local governments and everyone can't do this alone. Nonprofits can't do this alone. Other sectors, we need all of us together to make meaningful and transformational work. And I think having that mutual commitment and support for all of us to work together is so key. And so I want to thank you all and the NOCO Foundation, Kristen and Claire and everyone, just how important this is for us to be standing shoulder to shoulder and giving that message. And very happy to celebrate with you and continue to celebrate with you your 50th anniversary. And thank you for this. This is really very cool. And thank you for just being visible in the community. It's really nice to touch base with you at other events and not just once a year or so. So I just want to say thanks. Really proud to do this proclamation with you. And I look forward to our future work together. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks again. And we will read the proclamation. We'll make the motion, then we'll take a little photo with the proclamation if that works for you. So Commissioner Shattuck McNally, will you read the proclamation?
Thank you, Madam Chair. A Larimer County proclamation, whereas in 1975, a group of dedicated community leaders in Fort Collins saw the need to establish a community foundation to receive gifts and make impactful grants to improve arts and culture offerings and people's experience in the growing community. And whereas the Lincoln Junior High was converted into the present day Lincoln Center with help from the new Fort Collins Foundation, which contributed more than $300,000 to its construction. And whereas over the years, the foundation has grown to include five more communities and six more counties, including Larimer County, and is known as the NoCo Foundation. And generous donors have supported hundreds of Larimer County-based nonprofits through more than 11,300 grants, totaling over $62 million. And whereas the NoCo Foundation has prioritized improving the quality of life in Larimer County through community engagement efforts such as disaster fundraising, long-term recovery group leadership and funding, COVID funding, regional leaders, and community growing initiatives, the 2018 Mental Health Matters campaign, as I mentioned before, the 2024 Northern Colorado Intersections Report, and co-creating the Water Literate Leaders Program and leading 4 Larimer County Community Fund committees and Bertha at Estes Park, Fort Collins, and Loveland, who distribute donor funds to local nonprofits. And whereas the NoCo Foundation is celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2025, and is recognizing the thoughtful generosity and long-term investments from individual donors in the communities where we live, and the strong partnership between the NoCo Foundation and Larimer County government. And now, therefore, the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners hereby proclaim 2025 as the year of philanthropy, and witness whereof I hereby set, the chair hereby sets her hand and seal of Larimer County on this day of October 7th, 2025.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And Madam Chair, I move to approve the proclamation declaring 2025 as the year of philanthropy.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion?
I just
Commissioner
wonder
Kafalis.
if our county manager wishes to share a few words of wisdom on this topic.
Sure, we can do that.
Sure, I'll keep it really brief. The foundation, when I look through the book, it's really a little disconcerting to remember many of the things that happened at the beginning of the 50 years. But I think that that's a testament to how much you all have done in a relatively short period of time, a lifetime of work that's been done to benefit the community and continues to be done with the rebranding and the new focus that you all have given the foundation. It really is outstanding. So thank you for being a great partner. It's a lot of fun to work with you, and we get good things done together. Thanks.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0, so we'll stop for a photo. Thanks. Well, we are back and we have another proclamation. So, this proclamation is our proclamation recognizing Monday, October 13th, 2025, as Indigenous Peoples Day, submitted by Lori Kadrich, who will come up, our Assistant County Manager, and then we'll hand it off to Jody Shattuck McNally, our Commissioner, who had a lot to do with this proclamation. So, welcome, Lori.
Good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to give a shout out to our friends at the City of Loveland. So this proclamation was modeled after the proclamation that they use in the City of Loveland that has been reviewed by Indigenous people in our area and also by our Citizen Advisory Board. And our Citizen Advisory Board added a few details to the proclamation that's approved typically in Loveland, but otherwise they mirror each other. And I do think that that's important for the community and the region to understand that we're working with the people that live in our communities and trying to recognize the good work and importance of their lives in our area. So thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate that. So, Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Lori. I think it's the Community Advisory Board.
Yes, what did I call it?
Citizen.
Sorry.
That's all right. So, sorry, I just thought but I agree. I wanted to just share. Talking to. I'm really glad we added and did this year. Because of the work from our community advisory board. Some of the members of that board have Indigenous roots. There's 6th and 7th, 8th generation Lovelanders in that group, which have Indigenous roots. And I also have talked to Nico Strangeowl and her family, who have plumes, eagle plumes, and some of that on Highway 7, which is just inside the county. And I wore one of those early artists who made this ring that is recycled. Well, not recycled, it's vintage, but it's one of those made from those earlier Indigenous folks that lived and came and summered in that area. So I wanted to just say this is really from a lot of the voices and came from the voices who have deep roots in the community. And I appreciate them advocating for this and working hard, because it's the same group that worked to kind of get this done at the City of Loveland. They're not able to read theirs in person today, so I'm glad we're able to do that. They're going to do theirs online. And I think really this kind of highlights also Larimer County's values with resilience. The theme of this year's theme is about resilience and cultural heritage, but environmental stewardship. And that really, I think, also interconnects and very much aligned with our goals as county commissioners in our county, because those are a lot of same themes and values for us. And so I'm really grateful that that my colleagues agreed with with me, and we added this on, and grateful also, Lori, for your work with that community advisory board and the work and bringing them along. So, and I just want to remind everyone, just we're kind of this interconnected web of life when you think about dream catchers and stuff, and we don't weave that web. Life does, the community environment does, and we're just one thread. Each of us are just one thread, but whatever we do to that web and break a string or something really impacts all of us. And I just really want to think about how we're all bound together, and I think Chief Seattle really pushed that theme, is just we're all connected, and our community is better together. And I wanted to make that comment. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for let's have this today. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. Were you wanting to read the proclamation?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you very
And then
much.
I might have Commissioner Kvalis read the next two then.
Thank you. And I appreciate you letting me read that proclamation. And this is for my friends as well as for the community. I read this as a great honor. Proclamation of Larimer County Board of County Commissioners recognizing the second Monday in October as Indigenous Peoples Day, to acknowledge and support the Native Indigenous peoples living in Larimer County, and affirming the county's commitment to recognize and include the voices and interests of Native and Indigenous peoples. Whereas Larimer County Board of County Commissioners recognizes that the continents now known as North and South America have been occupied since time immemorial by many diverse and established Native Indigenous peoples, and areas of Larimer County are situated on ancestral homelands of many tribes, including the Arapaho, Cheyenne, Ute, Cheyenne Ute, and other tribal peoples, and was an important site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other tribes and nations, and is now home to a diverse Native community with individuals and families from many different tribal nations, and includes important cultural sites, landscapes, historic structures situated in northern Colorado. Whereas Larimer County acknowledges that this county was built upon the homelands of the Native and Indigenous peoples of this region, resulting in their forced displacement from their lands. And whereas Native and Indigenous peoples in Larimer County, as in all parts of America, suffer from the legacy of colonization and Native policies designed to erase and marginalize their presence. And whereas Larimer County benefited and continues to benefit directly from the Native American removal policies that violated human rights, broke federal treaties, and forced Native and Indigenous peoples from their homelands. And whereas Larimer County recognizes that the resilience of Native and Indigenous peoples, despite the harms these systems and policies have caused, and greatly values the social, economic, and cultural contributions they make. And whereas Indigenous Peoples Day was first proposed in 1977 by the United Nations International Conference on Discrimination Against Indigenous populations in the Americas, and has been adopted by several Colorado municipalities. And whereas Native and Indigenous peoples encourage Larimer County and its residents to be educated to respect and honor traditional practices regarding the interdependence of all humanity and living things, and to celebrate a vast and rich living tradition through ancestral recognition and diversity of knowledge and perspectives, including sustainable practices. And whereas Larimer County promotes closing the equity gap for Native and Indigenous peoples through policies and practices that respect sovereignty and Indigenous self-determination, aligned with United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, called UNDRIP, which establishes a universal framework of minimum standards for the survival, dignity, and well-being of the Indigenous peoples of the world, and elaborates on the existing human rights standards and fundamental freedoms as they apply to the specific situation of Indigenous peoples. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners, Section 1, that in the pursuit of shared responsibility in promoting knowledge about Native and Indigenous peoples and combating prejudice and discrimination, the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners does hereby resolve and declare the second Monday in October to be Indigenous Peoples Day, and may at the time support events that encourage awareness, understanding, appreciation of Native and Indigenous peoples, their traditions, cultures, and our shared history in these ancestral lands. Section 2, that Larimer County recognizes that the harm that was done and acknowledges that we have a shared responsibility to support the Native and Indigenous peoples residing in Larimer County, and to communicate, collaborate, and coordinate with tribal nations that have historic interest and presence in the area. Section 3, that Larimer County will encourage businesses, organizations, public institutions, and county departments to recognize and cultivate strong relationships with, and stand in solidarity with, and celebrate Native and Indigenous Peoples Day, approved and signed on the 7th day of October 2025. Madam Chair, I move to approve the proclamation declaring Monday, October 13th as Indigenous Peoples Day. And Madam Chair, I just want to also add that as my membership on the Colorado Forest Health Council, we have tribal and indigenous memberships, and we have inside of some of our principles, and our focus is having a recognition of indigenous practices with wildfire mitigation, and indigenous practices in wildfire and beneficial fire on the landscape, and honor that and support that through the Colorado Forest Health Council. And I just wanted to add that as well, because that is also a very important policy and recognition that we are including those historic practices and that the tribal nations in our work. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Further discussion or comments that you want to make? Please go ahead, Commissioner Kafalas.
Thank you. It's important that we present and approve this proclamation, acknowledging the history and the important contributions of Native American, Indigenous, First Nation people. I think that perhaps one of the most important traditions, teachings that many of us have tried to embrace, and that is that any decision, action that we take today, we need to consider the impact of that decision or action on future generations, as far as 7 generations. And I think that's really important that we do our best. These days, I wouldn't mind if we could consider just 2 generations or the next generation. So I just wanted to share that, Madam Chair. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you both for your comments. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we are proclaiming the second Monday in October as Indigenous Peoples Day. It is crucial that we remember our history. As a history major in college, I value, history and that we can learn so much from history. And we need to remember the bad as well as the good in our history. And of course, the way that Native Americans and Native peoples were treated in this country is pretty abhorrent. And so, I think that, as I've said before, these proclamations are not just talking about a day, but they're really a commitment to do better in the future. And so that's how I see this as a call to action that we can do better. We can include Native voices in the decisions that we make. And thank you, Commissioner Shattuck McNally, for sharing how you're doing that on the Forest Health Council. I got to spend some time when I was a little younger at the Pine Ridge Reservation with Little Shop of Physics, and I was able to go back this year to Pine Ridge Reservation to visit, and it is both very moving and very disturbing that there's a great amount of poverty on reservations in the U.S. and Canada, and so it is a reminder that there's still a lot of work to be done, but was able to visit the site of the Wounded Knee massacre. Unfortunately, one of several kind of sites that memorialize massacres that happened, and so really to go there to partly atone and have that to honor the victims that died, and there again, I think all that was in commitment to how do we do better in the space, and so really grateful for our Assistant County Manager Lori Kadrich for working to make this proclamation great, and for Commissioner Shattuck McNally and all the people that serve on our Community Advisory Board to approve it, to make sure that this language was respectful to Indigenous and Native people. And so I think that really, really glad that we are doing this today. And thank you all for listening. With that, we have a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. It doesn't seem like we have anybody here to receive this proclamation, so we will.
Well, maybe we can still do it with Lori Kadrich and take it, so share it with our board when we. I think they
We
might
can do
like to
that.
see that. If
Sure.
you wouldn't mind, I think
Yep,
that would be
we can do
important, and make our assistant county manager stand in another picture.
All right, so with that, we will pause for a moment for a photo, and we will be back. Thank you. Well, we are back, and we have another proclamation. We have a proclamation that proclaims October as Residents' Rights Month in Larimer County, submitted by Amber Franzel, Regional Long-Term Care Ombudsman. So we'll have you come up and talk about this item.
Good morning. My name is Eliza Hensley, and I am one of the long-term care ombudsmen with Larimer County. And I'm joined here today by our regional ombudsman, Amber Franzel, and by our Office on Aging program manager, Erin Alt. Thank you for allowing us to be here today and for the opportunity to share a few words about Resident Rights Month. National Long-Term Care Resident Rights Month is celebrated each October. This is an opportunity to honor the rights of every individual receiving long-term services and supports. The federal nursing home reform law guarantees residents protected rights, including the right to choice, dignity, and self-determination. The law also requires nursing homes to promote and protect the rights of each resident. The theme for this year is Stand With Me, which highlights the importance of solidarity and support for residents who stand up to advocate for their rights, as well as the value of encouraging the community to join residents in sharing their voices. Together, we can promote quality care and quality of life for our residents. We also want to honor our ombudsman as well during this time period. Our staff and our volunteers who work daily to promote resident rights and assist residents with complaints and provide information to those who need help finding a long-term care community. We are a staff of 3 ombudsmen and 3 volunteers, and we cover 14 nursing homes and 31 assisted living communities with over 3,000 beds here in Larimer County. We also want to recognize you, commissioners, Commissioner Stevens and Commissioner Shattuck McNally and Commissioner Kafalis. Thank you for your proclamation today. Thank you for your time. And thank you for your commitment to the long-term care residents in Larimer County.
Thank you, Eliza. Any questions for Eliza?
I don't have any questions. Just thank you for the work. It's really important. If I had a little forethought, I would have. I believe I still have my resident rights sign that we either gave out last year or the year before, and I should have brought it down. It would have been a nice prop. But thank you so much for the work, and always appreciative when we have opportunities. If you can help contribute to that, to visit folks in skilled nursing facilities or nursing homes, and certainly assisted living. I did visit a friend at the one that's over by Poudre Valley Hospital. I forget the name, and it was a very nice visit, and it seemed like a good energy in the common area there. So thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all for being here today. You know how much I value your work. It's so important. And as being a caregiver and have served as your liaison, but also on the Office on Aging Advisory Council for so long, I really think this is important, often forgotten, important sector that is really great that we're recognizing these rights, but it's kind of also sad that we have to remind people that folks in nursing home and long-term facilities and have residents' rights. And I think we all have rights, and just it connects to with the other proclamation that's coming. How just because they're not throwaways, they're living in a different place and aging in place or where they choose to age with dignity and grace. We always say that, with dignity and grace, and I think that's very important. And the ombudsman, you are so important, so critical for protecting these folks and giving them a voice and ensuring they have quality care and protecting their autonomy. I think during the pandemic, you had made sure they had came up creatively to do the hug walls or things. Remember all that, and then the iPads that you gave them to communicate. There was just all this stuff that I want you to know. We have not forgotten how challenging that time was and all the work you did to make sure they didn't feel forgotten. And they were all living in with a lot of extra fear and stress. So I think that we're still coming through that, making sure folks feel that, they have this opportunity to have a very safe place to live and feel like they matter and they value and they belong. I remember as a child through Sunday school and other things on May Day, especially, we would take May Day baskets to everyone or holiday baskets. And it was something that I grew up with my grandparents to make, they always were really great about taking us out, making sure we gave back even at an early age, and making sure that we saw a variety of people and a variety of settings and understand that they all mattered and we needed to tell them that the people cared about them. And so that's instilled in me, and I hope I instilled that in my kids as we raise them. And I know it's instilled in my husband as well, because he does this on a daily basis, taking care of folks. And I want to just say, I really like that theme of stand together, right? Stand with me, because we need to stand with those folks as funding uncertainties and other things. We need to make sure that we're standing with all of them, and that they're not forgotten, and their families are not forgotten, because they have that peace of mind that someone is also looking out in these facilities if they can't be there at all times. And as a caregiver who is going through another phase of caregiving at another intensity level, it is so important to have those resources. It's really, really important. So you all are amazing folks, and the work that you do is not seen and not very much recognized. And I just want to tell you, I value your work, and really glad that we do this every year. And I'm hoping that the artwork stuff is still somehow happening or encouraged. But I still have my side in my office too. But I just wanted to tell you, we're grateful that we do this every year. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, thank you, Eliza. Thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for kind of sharing the breadth of what you do. That's a lot of people to take care of, and to think that there's 3,000 beds, and that's what you're responsible for, and that you have to work with very many people. I really appreciate the work that you do. Just 3 staff members, 3 volunteers. That I imagine you're always busy. So thank you for taking the time to be here today and to really talk to us about this issue. This is really important. When I was younger, I worked in a nursing home when I was in college, and it was hard work, but I really loved it, and I loved hearing the stories. And that's the thing, is these people that are and still so vibrant in so many ways, and really kind of hearing their stories and getting to learn about their childhoods and their many adventures in their lives, right? I mean, each person is a story. And so I think that remembering that, that the dignity and respect for people who are, living in nursing homes or assisted care is just so really important. And those of us who have loved ones who are aging, and those of us who are aging ourselves, really appreciate this kind of work of this care and thoughtfulness that we're giving to people who, maybe not are less seen in public, but still really valuable members of our community. So wonderful work. With that, I'll have Commissioner Kafalis read the proclamation and make the motion on this item.
National Long-Term Care Resident Rights Month 2025 proclamation. Stand with me. Stand by me. Whereas there are 1.2 million individuals living in 14,800 nursing homes, and over 1 million individuals living in 32,200 assisted living residential care facilities in the United States. And whereas the Federal Nursing Home Reform Act of 1987 guarantees residents their individual rights in order to promote and maintain their dignity and autonomy. And whereas all residents should be aware of their rights so they might be empowered to live with dignity and self-determination. And whereas we wish to honor and celebrate these residents, to recognize their rich individuality, and to reaffirm their right to vote, and participate politically including the right to have a say in their care. And whereas individuals and groups across the country will be celebrating Residents' Rights Month with the theme Stand With Me, highlighting the importance of solidarity and support for residents who stand up and advocate for their rights, as well as the value of encouraging the community to join residents in sharing their voices. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the Board of Commissioners of the County of Larimer, to hereby proclaim October 2025 as National Long-Term Care Residents' Rights Month in Larimer County. Shall I offer the motion?
Yes, please.
Yes. I move to approve the proclamation declaring October 2025 as Residents' Rights Month.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this
Yes.
item? Yes, go ahead, please,
Well,
Commissioner.
I just I was going to bring it up because I forgot earlier, but it's mentioned in the proclamation, which is good, and that is whatever your role is in reminding people who oversee things in the nursing homes and the assisted living facilities. I believe ballots will start getting mailed out October 10th, and whatever you all can do to support others to remove barriers so that folks can participate in the upcoming election. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good reminder, and I think I imagine you're already on that, and that the nursing homes and assisted living facilities are really good about that, in my experience at least. So, wonderful. So there's a motion on the table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. If you guys are okay, we might wait and do the picture after the second proclamation. So, and then we can just kind of do two. And is that fine? Okay, we'll do that. So we'll move on to the next proclamation, which is the 2025 Ageism Awareness Day proclamation. And Aaron Alt from Human Services submitted this. This is to bring awareness to ageism for older adults living in Larimer County and to encourage the community to change how they talk about aging and older people in our community where ageism is pervasive, not persuasive. Thank you. Come on up.
Good morning. I am Erin Alt, the Program Manager for the Larimer County Office on Aging within Human Services Department. And I am joined today by two of our amazing, dedicated ombudsman staff. And I just want to thank you all for this opportunity to speak about ageism awareness. Today we confront ageism, one of the most widespread and socially accepted forms of prejudice. It's an issue that diminishes the lives of older individuals and deprives our communities of their invaluable wisdom, experience, and contributions. Modeled after the United Nations International Day of Older Persons, which is celebrated worldwide on October 1st, the Larimer County Office on Aging and the American Society on Aging proudly celebrates Ageism Awareness Day on October 9th. It is an opportunity to draw attention to the existence and harms of ageism in our society. This year, we are highlighting the richness and wide-ranging experiences of aging that counteract the myth that our chronological age defines who we are. Ageism manifests through stereotypes that portray older adults as frail, forgetful, and out of touch. It impacts us at all ages. Every time people make assumptions about us because of our age. These harmful narratives isolate and marginalize individuals based on age, preventing us from recognizing their rich life experiences, their knowledge, and their true resilience. Our older population possesses vast talents and skills, having navigated challenges, built families, and contributed to society. Yet they are often face barriers in employment, healthcare, and social engagement. Age-based discrimination can lead to feelings of invisibility and worthlessness, causing withdrawal from active community participation. Ageism can be found everywhere, from our workplaces and health systems to stereotypes we see in entertainment, advertising, and the media. But despite the many persuasive myths about aging, reality is quite different. I'm going to share a couple of myths. Myth: if I avoid aging, I'll be happier and healthier. Reality: we can and should change our views about aging. Negative self-perceptions of aging decrease quality of life and can even shorten lifespan of 7.5 years. Myth: aging is the same for everyone. The reality is, our experience of aging varies widely, depending on many factors, from genetics to encompassing factors like policies and culture. Ageism exacerbates other experiences of discrimination. Another myth: older adults can't learn new things, and they are hoarding wealth, and many other negative stereotypes portrayed in the media. The reality is, we learn and engage at every age, and older adults are not uniform in wealth, beliefs, or any other aspect of who they are. Myth: differences between generations are substantial. The reality is, differences between generations have been overblown, and we often share as much across generations as within them. These beliefs keep us from working together on issues that impact people of every age. So as we raise awareness, we must advocate for policies and practices that honor older adults' contributions. This includes promoting intergenerational interactions and fostering environments that encourage older adults to remain active and engaged. I call upon each one of us to take action. Speak out against ageist attitudes in workplaces, in your families, and communities. Advocate for inclusive policies that provide equal opportunities in employment and healthcare. Engage in conversations that highlight the value of older individuals that can dismantle the barriers that they face. By standing together, we can cultivate a culture that embraces and respects individuals of all ages. Let us declare that age is not a limitation, but a domain of rich potential and experience. Together, we can create a society where older adults feel seen, heard, and celebrated. Thank you so much for your commitment to this important cause. Commissioner Gonzalez, Stevens, and Shattuck McNally, we appreciate your time, your proclamation, and your dedication to older adults in Larimer County.
Thank you, Erin. Any questions or comments for Erin now? Go ahead, Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Erin. It is really an honor and privilege to work alongside all of you with the Office on Aging and through other activities. Really glad the intergenerational conversation, some of the work my daughter and I tried to start in the community in 2017 before the pandemic and all these things is still kind of going on. And as you were reading this proclamation, I was thinking about that, they call it cross-generational and intergenerational kind of work. And one of those things I really miss and I would love to get back in my life is volunteering with other folks, like at Kids Pack and other things where we brought youth and older adults to volunteer together at pack and do common good together. And kind of, I think that was so impactful in the conversations that happened and dispelling myths about ageism. I will never forget one of these young men had come over to my daughter and said, "Hey, I'm so glad I talked to that guy. I thought he was just this old man, but man, he used to be a counterterrorism, Russian counterintelligence agents, and I was so impressed. And now I think I might look at that for a career in college." And I'll never forget that, because if they hadn't sparked that conversation, he would have never known this man he was volunteered with actually had a pretty impressive resume. And so I think when I think of that picture, when that person that an older person look in the mirror, and what other people see is this older person, but they see their whole life of them being either a nurse in World War II or the things that they did. And we never know until we interact and talk with folks and know their stories. And if we just look at folks for what they appear to be, it's just shortcoming, whether it's youth, women, older adults, all of us. And I think we have to remember how loneliness, and we even in 2017 we were talking about loneliness and how it was one of the biggest harms to health. It was like smoking a pack of cigarettes a day to suffer from loneliness. And in 2020, that poll that really still sticks with me, that over 80% of adults from 50 to 80 experience ageism every day. Wow, right? That's something to think about, how people probably experience this in so many different ways. And that really can lead to depression and chronic health diseases. And I think it also, ageism intersects with other discriminatory isms. It makes it worse, where there's racism, sexism, ableism. We've all probably experienced where we feel someone didn't quite understand our abilities or value us as humans, and we have to think that everyone has value and can contribute. And I think that you shared that about the health, how much they can live longer. It's so important. And I think the most important single factor in determining longevity is, and that's probably even more than some of these other things, is just the idea that old age and being out there and be able to connect, and that you're still have things to give. And that we have such a rich community of folks volunteering in our county, that there's a lot of amazing things that get done that we would not have get done, whether it's Kids Pack, Master Gardeners, people volunteering the food bank, serving our boards and commissions. It is rich with folks who had a rich life and want to continue to give back. And how lucky are we that they still want to volunteer their time? That's so important. And I also feel getting all of us to interact with each other and understand we're better together, and age is a number. And I think today I was thinking about this at proclamation and how we unfortunately lost Jane Goodall the last week, and how much even to her final days was still speaking and traveling around the country. I think it was close to 200 days a year. I got to see her. She passed away on October 1st, 2025. I saw her in Boulder October 1st, 2015, and got to see her at that conference. And it was a sold out crowd in Boulder, and it was just such an impactful moment for me to hear her speak in person, and how she defied that ageism, because people just adored her and wanted to listen. And she was still out watching the sand cranes, or volunteering, or visiting, or talking with folks and giving speeches. And I think about if we could all see all our adults like we saw Jane Goodall and others. They all have stories and things to say, and should be valued. So again, really glad we do these together. Ageism is one of the most accepted forms of isms, and I'm just hoping as we still go forward, we understand the value, especially as our population in Larimer County for older adults is going to grow, and I soon will be in that population. So I don't feel like I'm done. I hope I'm still hiking with the people that I see on the trails that are definitely much older than me, and they hike faster than me. So I'm going to try to continue to keep up with them, and the miles that they do, and hopefully I will be up on the trails and doing things well into my 90s as we mourn the loss of Jane Goodall. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes, thank you. Let's see. First of all, I want to express my appreciation to the Larimer County Office on Aging, to Lori and the whole team, including the ombuds persons. You all do great work, and so thank you for that very much. Also, as one who officially is an older adult and still upright, I can resonate with this proclamation, and I do my best to still chip away at the stereotype that older folks cannot be significant contributors to our society, to our community. So I'm still at it. And I guess the last thing I'll mention is, the idea of being present with others. As one gets older, you notice in the obituaries that people have passed on, I see more and more of that of friends and colleagues and others. And so that to me speaks to the importance of finding time uh, to be with people and listen to their stories, share stories. So I think that's just, that's just really important. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Aaron, for bringing this forward. Certainly, just remembering to be mindful of how we speak to one another in general. I think that sometimes ageism becomes sort of what's seen as sort of an acceptable way discrimination, which is not true. It isn't. But I think that, and so I think this is important for people to remind people that older people in our lives are very valuable. Commissioner Shattuck McNally was recalling the time of COVID, and I mean, we were losing a lot of older people, and that was it was horrific, right? To think about so many people that we loved. I think we all have older people and in our lives that we care deeply about, that we respect, that are mentors for us, and I think reminding ourselves to and other people and younger people and children and that this it's important how we use our language and how we speak to people and how we speak about people. And so I'm grateful for the reminder that this is something that we need to be aware of and that we need to combat it when we hear it and say, that's not cool. And that older people have so much to give to us, and we do need to make that time. We do need to have that mindfulness about making time for people that matter in our lives, to hear those stories, to share, because at some point we'll all be gone, and then we don't want those stories to be lost. So I think this is just a wonderful reminder of how we need to treat people in our community and older adults in particular. So thank you. With that, Commissioner Kafalis, I will have you read the proclamation and make the motion, and then we'll do some photos.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Erin. 2025 Ageism Awareness Day Proclamation. Whereas ageism refers to the stereotypes, how we think, prejudice, how we feel, and discrimination, how we act towards others based on age, and whereas there is estimated to be nearly 90,000 older adults in Larimer County, age 60 and beyond, who are impacted by ageism. Whereas ageism toward older adults affects their health and longevity, financial well being, and the economy of Larimer County, and whereas preventing ageism in education, employment, housing, culture, and healthcare will benefit all, and whereas recognizing that it is up to all of us to ensure that older adults are respected and portrayed as capable, competent, effective, and valued in all areas of society, and whereas ageism awareness and preventing ageism is beneficial to the community of Larimer County by improving quality of life within Larimer County. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County hereby proclaim October 9th, 2025 as Ageism Awareness Day.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. So we will stop for a photo opportunity for both these proclamations. Thank you. All right, well, we are back, and we have one more discussion item on our agenda this morning. It is the approval of the Board of Equalization referee recommendations. I will ask Commissioner Shattuck McNally to move us into convening as the Board of Equalization, and then we will hear from Lindsay Jones this morning about those recommendations.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I move to convene as the Board of Equalization.
Thank you. There's motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. Welcome, Lindsay, and let us know what we're approving today.
All right. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Lindsay Jones from the Clerk and Recorder's Office. I'm here to review the referee recommendations from Board of Equalization hearings that took place between September 24th and September 29th of 2025. During that time frame, there were a total of 1,066 accounts, including real property, mobile homes, business personal property, oil and gas, severed mineral rights, and possessory interest accounts. There were a total of 349 hearings conducted. Of the 1,066 accounts, 445 accounts were adjusted. Of those, 217 account values were stipulated changes, and 621 accounts were denied. The percentage of change from September 24th to the 29th is negative 6.2%, and the year-to-date total percentage of change is negative 7.69%. So that total is down from last week's total percentage, which was negative 12.8%. I know last week Deirdre provided some historical data comparisons, but just as a reminder, the total value change in 2019 was 5.5%. In 2021, it was 3.5%, and in 2023, it was 6.1%. So we will continue to provide updates at upcoming administrative matters meetings until all the hearings are completed. Thank you for your time, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Lindsay. Any questions for Lindsay? No. Well, thank you, Lindsay. Appreciate your reporting these numbers. As we've seen, these numbers very much fluctuate week to week, and so it's good to have that historical number in mind. But knowing that we may see changes, and can you remind me the hearings go on through maybe October 21st? Is that right?
The hearings go through this Friday.
Or this Friday.
11th.
So that's the
10th.
The 10th.
Yes.
Okay. So we will have another report next week, and we'll see how those numbers have changed. But thank you. Thanks for bringing those forward. We appreciate it, and I will ask. Let's see, Commissioner Shattuck McNally, can you make a motion to approve those recommendations?
Certainly, Madam Chair. I move to approve the recommendations submitted by the Board of Equalization referee for the hearings held September 24th, 2025 through September 29th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
And then Commissioner Shattuck McNally, one more motion to move us to adjourn as the Board of Equalization.
Certainly, Madam Chair. I move to adjourn the meeting as the Board of Equalization and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. So that is it for our discussion items. Thank you for everyone who was here, and thank you for everyone who brought forward a proclamation. Certainly a day that we honored a lot of folks and a lot of good news items there. So we'll move on to our county manager update. Lorenda Volker, do you have things to report?
I do. Thank you, Commissioner.
Wonderful.
I guess I want to extend a thank you to the town of Timnath for hosting our regional elected officials meeting last week. They did a great job. It was good to get all of those folks together and to talk about things of common interest. And to the folks in Boulder County, the 3 commissioners and their administrator hosted us last week in a meeting to talk about other kind of regional issues. It's nice to talk about those kind of things with a county who's facing some of the many things that the Larimer County is facing as well. And then I want to celebrate Rebecca Everett, who I know you know well, was appointed to the Regional Roundtable Planning Commission. This is a group that was created by House Bill 25-1198, and it sits under the Department of Local Affairs at the state. Their primary function is to help local governments comply with the planning requirements, access resources, and really improve regional collaboration. And so Rebecca will serve as one of those technical people who will provide that assistance to other communities across the state, and we're really proud to have her represent us in that way.
Thank you. Any questions for Lorinda? No, thank you for reminding us about that appointment of Rebecca. I think she's going to be a welcome addition there. And, you know, we do things well here, and she's got great experience in how to think strategically and do great land use planning. So I think that the state will really value her service there. I know our MPO director, Elizabeth Relford, was also appointed, so there'll be some good women leading in Larimer County in this space, so thank you. All right, we'll move on to Commissioner Activity Reports. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Happy October, everybody. Certainly, September went by in a blur, and I'm kind of sad about that. I love September, but October's got a lot of great things happening as well. I just want to share a few things. I again agree with you, Lorinda, that we had a wonderful meeting with the town, with regional electeds, and that was an important conversation. And also really enjoyed our joint meeting. Commissioner Stevens, thanks for being there as we met with the Board of County Commissioners and their staff and had some really productive conversations. And I had to giggle. It's a new remodeled hub for Boulder County, but that's where actually I was born and raised in that area in Longmont, but that's where I got my marriage license in that building. It looks a little different now, but that was exciting to be there. And then the next day on October 1st, I did participate in the Visit Estes Park interviews in person up in Estes Park for a new CEO and leader for Visit Estes Park. I can say yesterday as we convened publicly, there is a choice and decision. I think that will come out in a press release. I'm very grateful to have been a part of that and grateful for those opportunities. I also had a chance to come down and meet with folks on some other opportunities in Loveland, but that's a whole other thing. But I met with the state forester on Thursday. Lots going on in our community, and I'm hoping that as soon as some of these reports get wrapped up, we'll be able to share some news with our community. I attended the Colorado Counties Incorporated Strategic Growth Zoom meeting regarding today. I think we have to submit our comments to that on feedback to Department of Local Affairs. I'm very grateful for Rebecca Everett and staff and my colleagues as we've been digging into that report as fast as we can, because it is a kind of seems like an expedited timeline. Lots of important work there, very detailed document, and that was a very robust meeting. And then we had our county commissioners and counties acting together interim policy committee, which was overlapping with the two meetings. So a lot of us share both groups, and so we were in and out of that, trying to share with that. I wanted to also, we had our Colorado Forest Health Council Legislative Committee, which I chair. Northern Water came to share about the partnership that they are, the importance of, they realize the forest health for our watersheds, but also our water supplies. They're very active and had hosted the last wildfire watersheds for an initiative for resiliency, which is a new group that's trying to give some advice and work with philanthropy and some business leaders and some of our regular partners. And I think Forest Health Council's got a representative on that. I look to learn more about that group and how they're looking to, it's a new group that looks to be influencing kind of policies for the Forest Health Council and overall initiatives. So I wanted to share about that. Then we had I think it went from 9 to 5, about approximately, for the Colorado County's Legislative Committee and membership meeting, where the body for all 64 counties voting on legislative priorities for the upcoming 2026 legislative session, which was a very robust and long meeting, lots of great conversations, and more to come on that. And then Saturday, I just had the Common Grounds in Loveland. That was very exciting to talk with some folks who showed up and had, and some of our staff came in the same coffee shop. I don't think they knew I was there, but a lot of people in and out, and lots of conversations and talk about the issue, the circumstances happening in Loveland with the homelessness. I have been keeping an eye on that. I walked around the Camp Hope and amongst some of them, and been keeping my pulse on that. That situation, and just wanted to share a little bit of that because I know some other electeds had sat outside with those individuals. I had just stopped by to say hello. Really glad to attend here with our farmers market, the tour to Corgi. Always looking for some dog therapy. It's great to hang out with all those dogs and corgis, and their owners are just love them to death. Lots of great costumes, and that was a lot of fun. We also had the same time the Masonic Centennial Celebration and rededication of the building across the street from us. That was a very unique situation. I've never been able, of course, because I'm not 100, see a building rededicated, but it's a very precise ceremony, and some folks from all across the state, from Fruta and Mancos, and all these members from the Masonic orders from all across the state had come, and it was very fun to watch their very precise ceremony. And then they had invited us through a special door to come inside and view the building. So, and very neat to attend that, learn some more of that history and the work that they do. So that was fun. And then really glad to do the welcoming for the Heart and Soul Latina Hispanic Heritage Celebration, which we were one of the sponsors along with Odell Brewing. Talk about a very vibrant, energetic, musical, wonderful celebration. I want to thank Odell's and Heart and Soul and all the other sponsors who just put on a very wonderful celebration to honor and celebrate Latin and Heritage Month for our community, which I think is really important to remind us all that we are a very inclusive cultural community. I want to just share also the Opioid Abatement Advisory Council, which is a kind of a subcommittee of the Regional Opioid Abatement Council that I serve on as vice chair. Colleagues, that is, we have a contract and working with Butler Group to provide some feedback and data to help grantees, but also help us as we go along, because the money will start to lessen now, to make sure that we have the right tools and data that help. The University of Denver and Butler Institute are helping us along with our staff and epidemiologists to make sure that a lot of our data and work is being very data informed and getting some subject matter expertise. And that's we're working on a charter to have approved by the ROAC to have them do work through administrative services and not as a separate grantee. So that's a big change, and I wanted to share that because our Laura Walker and others have been helping with that, and so I wanted to update you on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kavalis.
I will pass today.
Okay. The only thing that I wanted to share is that on Wednesday, Commissioner Kavalis and I went to the University Connection presentation on navigating a changing landscape, and just wanted to thank Josh Fudge, one of our directors, who was presenting the county's perspective on, what some of the our challenges are with our budget going forward. We also heard from folks from CSU and Poudre School District and the city and the UC Health. I think what was really heartening about that message that everyone gave is that we're all kind of in a similar bind with regard to our budgets, and that we are all committed to working together. And I will say the audience was filled with people from nonprofits and local government, community leaders, and everyone to a person was, I think, positive about going forward as a community. We know what we need to do. We know we need to work together, and these problems are daunting but not insurmountable. And so I just really want to thank Josh for doing a great job of representing the county in that space. I think that's it for me. I attended a lot of events, a lot of transportation meetings, and certainly also want to thank Heart and Soul for the Latina Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. it was a very beautiful celebration, and I think a message that our community needed around coming together and supporting each other. So that was a great event. So with that, we have an executive session. No decision is expected, so we won't be coming back after this motion is made. And so I will ask Commissioner Gonzalez to make the motion to bring us into executive session.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Board of County Commissioners enter into executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-4, 402, 4A, purchase, acquisitions, lease, transfer of or sale of any real or personal property.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. That motion passes 3-0. So we will be moving into executive session. We will be back next week. See you next week, Larimer County.